we have achieved together. We have built roads, supported free wires and free tuition at high schools and public universities, stabilized the macroeconomic challenges we face in 2018, built hundreds of pro-poor housing units, and achieved on so many fronts that we are able to list here today. However, I acknowledge that there is always room for improvement, and perhaps more could have been done under different circumstances. Regrettably, some of the long-term projects we initiated did not reach completion during my tenure. I am hopeful that the incoming administration will carry the torch forward and bring these initiatives to fruition for the benefit of all Liberians. Fellow compatriots, rumors, and misinformation have played a large part in our politics over the last 6 years. It is my hope we as a country will overcome this challenge over the next 6 years. To begin this, we must start with the facts of the transition. I must report to you that we are leaving behind a better economy than we inherited. Today, President-elect Joseph Nima Bouaka will inherit a stronger economy than I inherited. There is a bigger net international reserve position than was handed me in 2018. I inherited 94,999,000 United States dollars in net international reserves. And I am handing over to the next administration a net international reserve position of 222,700,000 United States dollars. This is 136% increase in the net international reserve position. The total cash balance in the government's consolidated account is United States 40,044,300 people. One nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us remember the strength of our unity, the resilience of our democracy, and the hope that lies in the future of Liberia. As we welcome a new era, let us move forward hands in hand with a shared commitment to building a united nation that will continue to strive on observing the tenets of democracy and adhering to the rule of law. May God bless you all, and may God continue to bless the Republic of Liberia.
Those who wrote the speech, inauguration, everybody happy. We are rejoicing over the defeat of the old regime. We are rejoicing about our effort to bring a new regime. Then we say now with happiness. We go write paper for that 79-year-old man. He's struggling to read. Then you go there, I will tell United Nations, I will tell US, I will bring one for here. Because you think one for I'm rejoicing. By the time the old man was reading, when you got to that place.
When you elect a clown and you think that he will be a king, what he does is to convert the kingdom into a circus. This is what we must deal with, and this is what we must say. Who do we elect into our public offices? Because, as I've said before, when you allow hyenas to take care of goats, why should you be surprised when the goats are eaten? This is the same. And Africa is only going to realize our potential in all areas when, by dint of choice, we enable and allow our best men and women to serve in different areas. I've heard it being said about Lee Kuan Yew in Singapore. I've heard it being suggested about Mahathir Mohamad in Malaysia. I've heard it being said about Japan. I've heard it being said about other countries. But there was a conscious decision on the part of those individuals and the followership. We always talk about leaders, but we never talk about the followers. The followers must also style up. Africans on average are for some reason attracted to thieves. Africans are for some reason attracted to men and women who cannot serve her. And when they are not served, then they complain. When Africans are told, choose you now whom we shall release, Jesus of Nazareth or Barabbas, they say, release Barabbas. And when Barabbas behaves like Barabbas, they say, why are you not behaving like Christ? It cannot be done.
In May of 2001, signed a second of two executive orders, number 13213, Defense Exhibit D310, in which it was stated, and I quote, the government of Liberia's complicity in the RUF's illicit trade in diamonds and its other forms of support for the RUF are direct challenges to the United States foreign policy objectives in the region, as well as the rule-based international order that is critical to the peace and prosperity of the United States. Therefore, I find these actions by the government of Liberia contribute to the unusual and extraordinary threat to the foreign policy of the United States described in Executive Order 13194, with respect to which the President declared a national emergency. This executive order did not say the alleged complicity, it concluded the complicity. The conspiracy was born, all systems put into motion, and here I stand today. I never stood a chance. This is the broader contextual matrix that regrettably did not and still has not seen the light of day in these proceedings, despite the gallant efforts by the defense to unearth and reveal the contextual framework behind the charges against me. Now, with the two executive orders, the dogs were let out, so to speak. What followed was a dispatch of the attack pack led by Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, Defense Intelligence 30 years prosecutor. He, Crane, unlawfully unsealed the court's sealed indictment to his handlers, senior U.S. government officials at the U.S. Embassy in Freetown, and was never held to account. The rest of the operational team are Colonel Brandon Hollis, Defense Intelligence, CIA, U.S. Air Force, Senior Trial Counsel, and Armed Prosecutor. James C. Johnson, U.S. Army expert, 20 years on conventional and special operations, Chief of Prosecutions for the SCSL. Alan White, 30 years, Defense Intelligence, recalled from retirement to head up investigations at the Special Court of Sierra Leone. Stephen J. Rapp came on board as Chief Prosecutor for a short time with experience from Capitol Hill, where he served with a U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee sometime before. It came as no surprise to me that as a reward of sorts for Stephen Rapp's diligence in the execution of U.S. foreign policy objectives through these ad hoc tribunals, he was appointed U.S. Ambassador at large for war crimes issues. In support of the contextual framework of politics, on February 8, 2006, Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, prosecutor, appeared before a U.S. Congress Subcommittee on Africa, Defense Exhibit D404, and spelled out in clear terms the decision taken in support of regime change in Liberia and what needed to happen to solidify that process. There was little mention, if any, in his testimony about Sierra Leone. And here is what he said. I posit that 5 years from now, when the international community is challenged by other crises, Taylor in Calabar, under the protection of Nigeria, will make his move. We will wake up one morning and watch on CNN as Taylor rides triumphantly down the main street in Monrovia to the executive mansion, daring all of us to come and get him. Unless he is handed over to the Special Court for Sierra Leone, this scenario is not out of the realm of possibilities. He then asked, how do we assure Liberia's future? And he answers that. Ultimately, he says, what we do about Taylor in the next several weeks will determine the fate of Liberia and the new administration of its president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Crane then sets out several plans, two of which I'll state here. He said, first, hand Charles Taylor over to the Special Court for Sierra Leone for a fair trial, his kind of trial. This takes him out of the local and regional dynamics that is West Africa. Second, tie any financial and political support to good governance in Liberia. Time does not permit, but the exhibits are present. Not even the Nigerian nation was spared from threats and intimidation acts explained by Fani Kayode, press secretary to President Obasanjo, the Nigerian head of state, who was with him in Washington when President George W. Bush promised, and I quote, to bring Nigeria to its knees if Taylor was not turned over to the special court. And what happened? Obasanjo buckled and capitulated. Now, this demonstrates the significant pressure that was brought to bear on President Obasanjo, irrespective of his personal and leadership obligations to the West African sub-region. And therein lies the dilemma for current African heads of state and government, but how to enter into binding commitments and obligations with the African pairs and remain steadfast, resolute, and unyielding in their fidelity to those agreements in the face of such unrelenting and punishing pressure from powerful Western leaders.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Wake up from your slumber, stop slipping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know y'all sleeping now. Y'all gotta wake up some more, yeah? Okay, let's go.
And once you hear let's go, it says to all of us that it's time to go hide. It says to all of us that it's time to run into the facts, the hard issues, uprooting the personalities connected to the issues, and speaking truth to power.
I said we tired with their lies, we tired with their promises that led us to a lot of damages.
You are braver than you believe,
Indeed, and now you need
and stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think.
So why bless you?
This is start to success.
Why bless you a lot?
Let me say a very, very pleasant good evening to all of you across the country. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and even good night to those of you in the diaspora. Oh, our friends, our fans, our followers, our critics, and even those of you who do not like the things we say and the way we say them. It's good to have all of you joining us tonight on the Monday's edition of the show. This is Freedom Hard Talk. A lot to talk about tonight, as always. The Liberian Senate on its official opening or return to the legislature as part of issues on the pro terms decks to be investigated. Is a Star P $200 million project. The Senate believes that based on complaints, the monies were mismanaged and required an investigation by the Senate. What exactly did Yombi Lawrence say? We have a piece except from her statement. What do we think about that investigation? You're going to hear our opinions, obviously. Bomi County Senator Edwin Melvin Snow has written ECOWAS, informing that body about a peaceful political settlement in the House of Representatives. What do you think about that communication? How necessary or important should that communication be taken by all of us in Liberia? What do you think it is necessary and relevant to the knowledge of ECOWAS? We will talk. We have seen a document believed to be a proposed rail operating system. A proposed rail operating system that has been reached or developed by ArcelorMittal Liberia.
Now you need to deceive us. The thing we saw it frustrate us. So why bless you?
While we try to get confirmation from Mittal Liberia, we are going to reveal what is in the proposed a real operating system. This is supposed to bring to an end all of the conversations and debates about Mitasti does not want to encourage another party or a third party user of the rail. Mitasti is acting selfish with the rail. Mitasti does not own the rail. Mitasti is a selfish company. So Mitana has developed what they call the proposed rail operating system. We have the proposed document, which we are going to read for you. I know all of the conversations now have been centered around two major issues: the July 17 protests by a group of Liberians from different political parties and civil society groups. They said they are coming together to protest on July 17 to call the government to power, to call the government to account for their stewardship. They are protesting against the government to respect the rule of law. They are coming out to compel the government to work in their interest. They want to come out for too many reasons. And so, yes, it's important we tell you what we think about the protest. And obviously, the US rate, the exchange rate is skyrocketing, as some may call it. It's climbing by the day, and I believe the exchange rate is seated right up the Wologisi mountain, looking deep in the face of His Excellency President Joseph Yuma Bwaka and asking him some critical questions. Mr. Bwaka, you told us you have 42 years of experience. Your people projected you as the most educated person for the job. Your people say you were the right person for the job, the most experienced person, the best intellectual in our country for the job, the man with all of the ideas to revive our economy and avert the happiness of all of these things. The question now is, what is happening with the most experienced person? Why are prices rising beyond the age of our country? Why is the US rate just rising far above the Wologisi mountain where Mr. Bwaka comes from? Why is the Ministry of Finance, along with the Central Bank of Liberia, not saying anything? Who do we look to in these trying times? Are the justifications being given by Unity Party folks reasonable enough to accept?
The promises that led us to
Should those justifications be anything we should consider?
indeed and now unique they deceive us.
How do they even impact, influence, or fix the problems that we face with at the moment?
Why did you allow the citizens to be?
Why? Why should you allow the citizens to grieve?
For you fool us.
The people believe that they voted for you, but you fooled them, you screwed them, you used them, and later on abuse them. Why, Mr. Bwaka? Why, the Unity Party people? You have a lot of questions to answer. Liberians are crying on you. Liberians want to hear you find solutions to the problems. Oh yes, those are the issues we're talking about here tonight. $200 million went missing, reportedly. And this is not under the Unity Party government. This is under the CDC government.
We tire with the promises.
Oh yes, Senator Snow is now informing ECOWAS that you can do business with these people now. Now that they have agreed to follow the process, the legal process.
So it frustrates us.
They have illegally elected a speaker. You can now do business with him.
Why did you allow the citizens to be?
As Lamita say, hey, we are not selfish as being propagated at people who hate our company.
You screw us.
We just want to follow the right process.
So
hence, we have developed a proposed real operating system. US rate is claiming way up. Like I said, they're really seated over at the top of the Wologisi Mountain in Lofa County. Looking deep down in the face of His Excellency Joe Barker and asking him, punching him with some questions that he is yet to answer. July 17 protest. Are you in or are you out? This is the size and shape of the show. The cash giveaway is active tonight. You just need $100 Liberian on your mobile money account to be qualified to play our cash giveaway. Once you have that amount, you dial star 799 star 11 hash. When you send, the two options will appear before you. The first option will be asking you to play in US dollars, and the second option will be asking you to play in Liberian dollars. Whichever option you enter, you send, and then you enter your mobile money password. It's a bingo for you. You will just be setting to receive for yourself instantly 4,000 Liberian dollars just for $100. You stand a chance of winning 4,000 Liberian dollars tonight.
Why? But the question that we asking.
This show is proudly sponsored by Crime Stopper Liberia of Omen Sam Science. Very shortly, we take a break from our sponsor, Crime Stopper Liberia and Yanxing Beer. When we come back from our break, we'll go to our Facebook Live to welcome all of you who've joined us tonight on the show to talk the real issues, to talk the hard issues. My name is Austin. Let's take a break from our sponsors, Crime Stopper Liberia and Yanxing Beer.
About musical. There are crimes in many places, in every community, you can see. So if you see crime, you won't report it. Don't take law in your hand, call the real authority. Well, it can't take your law in. Crime Stopper here for us, bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor, if you see a you must talk it, I mean you cheche. You wait for your safety. If you see it, don't keep it. You must call to report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is your community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, Old Man Sam Cyan.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and make it peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crimes for all of us.
Yang Tieti to Deja. Introducing Yanjin Beer from Beijing, the newest sensation in town. Yanjin Beer is so smooth and light. You can drink it, wake up in that morning, feeling very energized. And you wiggy pui, the woman will be very happy. No headache, no eye spinning. And the Yanjin Beer bottle, it got a special way again open. Nobody will ever use you for the opener again. Very easy. Yanjin Beer can be found wholesale or retail at Sir Exeter and Tongo Water, and also in supermarkets or bars around you. Reward yourself by drinking Yanjin beer, and trust me, you will be ready to go.
Okay, thank you, Omer Sam Sion and your Crime Stopper Liberia, along with Yansheng Beer. Let's welcome a few of you who've joined us tonight on the show because we have a lot to talk about tonight. And then we move into those talking points. CDC Pape Success Keita has joined us. Lawrence Harris is joining us tonight. Tumete Tier, Likpi, Vishlu. We'd like to say a few of you who've joined us tonight. Thanks to all of you for joining the show. Let's move into different conversations here tonight. There is something happening, something confusing between the government of Liberia, HPX, and ArcelorMittal that we will talk about, not in detail tonight, but it's very important we talk about that because I see Liberia as a country now on the verge of collapse. If we are not careful, if we do not exercise care, maturity, tolerance, and in the decision we make between HPX and Mita. But let's run into this. So we'll begin the show tonight. We'd like to again reach to Mr. and Mrs. Dixon Sibo. Happy wedding, belated wedding anniversary. Anyway, they're celebrating 20 years in marriage, and so we want to dedicate this show to the two of them tonight, Mr. and Mrs. Sibo. So normally when the legislature returns, the separate houses will, the heads in the Senate, they are unfinished business on the Potem's decks that she will normally highlight as issues or matters of concern as Potem of the Senate. And so among those issues, she made reference to the report from the Education Committee on the status of the volunteer teachers, inclusion on the payroll, the teachers training, and the renovation of schools across the country. And then she also made reference to a complete report expected from the Committee on Health on the effective and timely disbursement of funds by the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Finance, to all referral hospitals, health centers, and clinics. Yes, hospitals and clinics across the country, and also report on programs that need to be implemented to enhance, according to her, to enhance quality care for the people of Liberia in the counties. And she placed emphasis on the phase 2 of the year, including GFK and the redemption hospitals and all of that. And then she also made mention of the need for the Senate to conclude on the request to investigate, according to her, 200 plus million US dollars loan acquired by the government of Liberia for the STARP and the RETRAP projects in 2021 under the Ministry of Agriculture from the World Bank. She said, according to her, the loan included 124,500,000 for roads. For roads has not been done. She said over 40 million loan to smallholder farmers for agricultural projects that must be identified. She wants those smallholder farmers to be identified and that also they have asked the Agriculture Committee to conduct a public hearing and report in 1 week. Now, this is, I know some folks will say, oh, but this thing happened under CDC and Austin supported George Weah. Why is he bringing this up? Yes, I'm bringing this up. I'm making reference to this. I'm elevating this because this is extremely necessary in the fight against corruption and the drive towards transparency and accountability in public service, and the quest to avoid or prevent waste or expose waste in public service. That's why I'm raising this. Yes, we supported a government that was in charge for 6 years, a government that was never perfect. Let's get that clear. A government that had excesses. Despite all of the good things that the government did, all of the achievements and the progress, there were issues. So it is good that the current system, particularly the leadership of the Senate, is expressing interest in ensuring that over $200 million that in the amount based on the information they receive from one of their colleagues, that the money was not spent appropriately, and so they want the Senate to investigate. I think I'm in support, 100% support of this investigation, and we are going to follow this investigation to the end. 200 million ain't no joke, especially when this money is supposed to be a loan that was acquired from the World Bank. $40 million of this money should have gone to smallholder farmers for agriculture projects. $40 million. I remember during the CDC era, Alvin Wisse, who used to be assistant minister, have been raising some issues about the this Star P project and this retrap project, the two projects. You raised some sensitive issues about transparency and accountability and exclusion of departments that were supposed to be involved with the implementation of the project. But in my mind, the government then did little or nothing to intervene into all of the complaints that were being raised by Assistant Minister Alvin Wisse. Then I still remember an incident where Alvin Wisse had to practically go to the site where equipment that were allegedly purchased under this project were being distributed to beneficiaries according to them, and he had to go there to stop the distribution of the agricultural equipment on grounds that he was not in the know as assistant minister for planning and manpower and all of that, blah, 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 blah. A project that is supposed to be directly implemented under his office. He complained that a parallel structure was created by the then Minister of Agriculture, Jenny Cooper, and that parallel structure was the one that was being used by her to implement the project. The fact that he came out then to cry foul, and little or nothing was done by the CDC government then, and that the Senate is now mustering the courage to look into this matter, I, Austin KAWAH, am going to support and follow up with the Senate, with the Senate's investigation to ensure that every transaction that took place regarding this Star P project and the retrap project, these two projects, every transaction that transpired concerning these two projects should be revealed to the public. And if we just hope that this is not another filibustering or another showmanship by the office of the pro tem to say, oh yes, we've returned to the legislature with vigor and energy and determination to work so we will target issues that boil around corruption, that seek to expose a lack of transparency and all of that. And after 1-2 weeks, then nothing happens or nothing is done. If nothing is done, I personally, I'm going to write the Senate officially through the office of the pro tem, requesting an update to the public update on this investigation. I am heavily interested in this particular Star P and retrap projects, and so we will follow this project, this investigation to the end, and we are going to support the Liberian Senate, particularly the Committee on Agriculture, to ensure that we get to the logical end of this investigation. $200 million US. The CDC government took loan from the World Bank to implement these two projects, where smallholder farmers were supposed to be given equipment to go and expand their farming activities and increase the production of the produce that we're consuming on the local market and all of that, which in turn was going to reduce the price of the very products that were being imported into the country. Today we are having a conversation about how come we are still experiencing increase in the price of basic commodities on the Liberian market. How can we continue to say we are producing rice in the country and we are not even producing rice to feed 5% of the population? But all these millions were coming into the country from Ellington to George Weah. Now it's Joe Barker. All these millions were coming into the country for rice production, to expand rice production, vegetable and all of that, cash crops. And we are still not seeing anything, or we are seeing just little, and we are hearing huge sum of money. $200 million US is what Mitasti is proposing to give to the government annually as contribution. So ain't no joke. That's not a joke. And the Senate is talking about mismanagement here. All of us must be interested in ensuring how this $2 million US was managed under Jenny Cooper as Minister of Agriculture. And we hope that the Committee on Agriculture in the Senate will do the needful to ensure that media people who have been expressing critical opinions about this investigation can get them to provide coverage. Let the public get to know all of those who will be invited to participate in the hearing. The public must hear them, see them, and listen to them and understand what they are projecting to you. And they must not just come to you to intellectualize this investigation. They must bring to you invoices, receipts, documents, evidence, proof of payment and spending to vendors and beneficiaries of this project. The smallholder farmers that received the different equipment that were bought, we want to see them. The vendors that were paid to deliver the machines that were procured, the procurement processes, how did it go, and all of that. We need all of this information. We are talking about $200 million US here, a money that we borrow from the World Bank. So if you ask me why I'm interested, yes, I'm interested, and I will always be interested in anything that has to do with transparency and accountability in public service. So that's it. We are going to follow. Did they hear say I forget or I don't do anything? Just remind me. We are going to follow this matter to the logical end. And so we move on to so this is what Senator Snow wrote. Okay. So this country is interesting. Capital Bay. We got a long way to go. Long way to go. We have long way to go. Okay, get this. So today, the National Imams Council of Liberia released a statement, a resolution actually, and we are going to play that. We're talking about the U.S. really suffering in the street. We have a recording that was done. We told you most of the contents we're going to be using here will not be our own content, because even though we do not have problem with using our contents, but the people say, oh, that Freedom FM, oh, they didn't support Joe Barker, so anything they say will be politics, will be hate. So we're going to use false posts that will be carried out by ELBC, Spoon, their own media institutions that they are comfortable with. Those are the institutions' contents that we are going to be using. So the one we use tonight on the US rating and the hardship in the country, which is going to be our major conversation here tonight, we'll use Spoon's recording. And then we'll play you the resolution from the Imam Council as well. Tonight, they issue a resolution today to the government. We're going to play that. So let's just rumble over all of these. Let's clear our decks first. Where is this? Where is Edwin Snow communication? Okay. Let me zoom. His Excellency Right Honorable Mamatunu Ibrahim, Speaker of ECOWAS Parliament, International Conference Center, blah, 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 Federal Republic of Nigeria. Your Excellency, notification of the resolution of legislative impasse and election of new Speaker of the Honorable House of Representatives. I have the honor to present my compliments and extend warmest greetings on behalf of the Liberian delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament. I write to formally inform Your Excellency and distinguished members of the 6th Legislature of the ECOWAS Parliament that the internal parliamentary impasse at the Honorable House of Representatives of Liberia's 55th National Legislature has been peacefully and lawfully resolved in keeping with the country's democratic principles and legislative procedures. Following the interventions of the Supreme Court of Liberia and subsequent resignation of former Speaker Councillor Janeta Fonati Kofa, the Honorable House of Representatives, I hate to use honorable when I'm referring to lawmakers, the House of Representatives convened in regular session and duly conducted an election resulting in the peaceful ascension of Honorable, people think honorable in the communication now. I'm there. Of Richard Nangbekun as Speaker of the House of Representatives of the Republic of Liberia. This development, Your Excellency, does not only restore okay. This development, Your Excellency, does not only restore full constitutional leadership to both chambers of the Liberian legislature, but also paves the way for strengthened parliamentary function and representation at the national and regional levels with respect to the framework of the ECOWAS Parliament. The Liberian legislature remains profoundly grateful for the solidarity support from the ECOWAS Parliament during this period, and herewith reaffirm Liberia's continued commitment to the principles of democratic governance and regional cooperation. Thanks, and please accept, Your Excellency, the assurances of my highest esteem and consideration. Respectfully yours, Senator Edwin M. Snow, Jr. So that's the communication from Senator Snow, who is the head of the Liberian delegation to ECOWAS. We don't have enough time, so we'll move on to clear all of you said there are too many stuff we'll have to talk about tonight, and then move on to our discussion. So, Aslamita, let's run. What is there is an article that has been published in the Liberian Investigator. So I think I'll read this one first, and then we'll run to that statement that has been published in the Liberian Investigator, which is interesting. Let's run to this. Let's get this. Yeah, that's what happens on Monday. On a lot happened. So that's what happens on Monday. Mondays are important days, and there are too many things. Okay, I think I have to zoom, put this one in. This mode. Okay. I have to rotate this one to zoom it for clearer view. So, like we said, we have not been able to verify from Itasti whether this document represents them or whether it comes from them, but we are investigators, and so this information, come to us on a daily basis. But it's under the caption ArcelorMittal's proposed rail operating system, a blueprint for sustainable infrastructure sharing. This investigation has gathered that a comprehensive framework developed between the government of Liberia and ArcelorMittal seeks to serve as a pragmatic solution for managing Liberia's vital rail infrastructure while promoting fair access and investment security in the country's mining sector. The rail system operating principles, RSOP, finalized as part of AML's third amendment to its Minimal Development Agreement, offers a clear path towards multi-user access without sacrificing operational efficiency, safety, or economic viability. This approach has won praises from infrastructure and policy experts across the region who view it as a win-win model with balances the state sovereignty, investor protection, and share use. The RSOP is the result of over 7 years of consultation between the Interministerial Concessions Committee, IMCC, and ArcelorMittal. It reflects Liberia's vision of a multi-user rail corridor as called for by Executive Order 136, while protecting long-standing agreements such as AML's existing concession. Executive Order blah 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 blah. According to industrial analysts, AML's integrated approach is modeled after successful systems in Australia, Brazil, Canada, Guinea, blah blah. So that's what. So that's it. So that's what this article is reporting, that Mitasti has developed a rail operating system that will allow a third-party user right to whosoever that the government will award a third-party user right to use the rail and all of that. So, folks, let me play you a few teasers as a reflection to prepare us for our conversation tonight. Okay. We said we're going to read for you this article from the Liberian Investigator, right? Yeah. So the Liberian Investigator is reporting under the caption Bwaka's rail reversal embodies foreign pressure, undermines investor confidence. Let me see what I can get except from this one, published by the Liberian Investigator. They call it one a corporate war or industrial war. The Bwaka administration's sudden decision to withdraw its communication affirming ArcelorMittal Liberia's AML role as rail user operator is a reckless reversal that undermines investors' confidence, betrays years of structural negotiations, and threatens the integrity of Liberia's most strategic national infrastructure. Even more troubling, this policy U-turn came only hours after a sharply worded letter from Avanho Atlantic Incorporated, a foreign private company landed on the president's desk. Let us call this what it is. Let us call this what it is. Capitulation under pressure. In a May 3rd, 2025 letter addressed to President Bouaga, Ivanhoe Atlantic, a subsidiary of billionaire Robert Furlan's High Power Exploration (HPX), brazenly challenged the government of Liberia's internal decision making and accused the Interministerial Concessions Committee, the IMCC, of procedural illegitimacy. This was not a respectful appeal. It was a veiled threat. Teeny clock in diplomatic jargon, with unmistakably clear in its intent to override a sovereign government's judgment in favor of foreign business interests. Ivanhoe's letter implied, without evidence, that the IMCC's decision to affirm AML as the real user operator was null and void, and simply because not all statutory ministries or ministers were present. It questioned the legitimacy of Liberia's cabinet processes, and more audaciously called on the president to personally overturn a policy recommendation treating our nation's executive branch as a customer service desk rather than a constitutional authority. This is not how nations are run. This is not how partnerships are built. No foreign corporation has the right to dictate infrastructure policy to a sovereign country. Ivanhoe would not dare speak to the president of the United States, Nigeria, or South Africa in this manner. Yet he feels entitled to do so with Liberia. Why? Because it underestimates us. The IMCC's recommendation was not rushed, reckless, or secretive. It was the result of 7 years of negotiation with AML, culminating in the third amendment of the Mineral Development Agreement and a robust Rail Systems Operating Principles (RSOP) framework. This agreement not only allows AML to operate the Yekepa Buchanan Rail on a cost recovery basis, but also guarantees open access for other users, including Ivanhoe, under the government's full regulatory oversight. In fact, the RSOP empowers the government of Liberia to approve additional users, audit operations, set standards, and if AML fails in its duties, remove it as operator. There is no exclusivity, no monopoly, and certainly no abuse of power. What Ivanhoe is demanding is not fairness, it's control. And that demand comes despite AML's undeniable track record. Since 2005, ArcelorMittal has invested over $2.5 billion in Liberia, employing thousands, paying taxes, building infrastructure, and sticking with Liberia through civil war, Ebola, and economic downturns. It has proven to be a long-term partner, something HPX has yet to do. HPX Liberty Corridor project is still theoretical. Trans-Guinea Rail Line is not a Liberian project. Guinea has explicitly stated that any use of Liberia's infrastructure is temporary. Liberia must therefore prioritize its own development and trusted partners. Ivanhoe's letter inaccurately cites Executive Order Number 136, signed by President Bouaga in October 2024, as a legal obligation for Liberia to implement an independent operator model. This is false. Executive Order 136 established a national rail authority to oversee and regulate Liberia's rail infrastructure, not to dictate a specific operating entity. Nowhere in that order is AML prohibited from continuing as real user operator, especially under a regulated cost neutral model that ensures multi-user access. In fact, the RSOP part of AML stay amendment is the clearest policy instrument yet in Liberia that allows how multi-user access can be achieved in a structured, safe, and government-controlled way. If anything, this model strengthens Executive Order 136. To now abandon it because of a foreign company's complaint is to undermine Liberia's own policy logic. President Bouaga has shown strong leadership on many fronts. Blah blah blah. So this is an article, an opinion piece here written by the Liberian investigator. So you can get a copy of the Liberian investigator and read this. It's a strong editorial. So you can get a copy and read this editorial in the Liberian investigator. It's strong editorial. So interesting editorial. You can get a copy tomorrow or the soft copy, the Liberian investigator, and read or complete the reading. Okay, so we can move into other things. We can move into other stuff. Yeah, I'm trying to follow a conversation about some money bidding in capital bidding. Okay. 45K. Samuel Enders just wrote 45K plus 50K. Times 40 persons. 45K plus 50K times 40. We gotta go back and visit Marvel. If the sum is why you so referring to it is 3,000. Okay, 3 million. Okay, 3.8 million. Okay, yeah, you're right. So $3.8 million. What? They're gonna get money. Oh. Just to make Rachel Cool speaker, the company spent 3.8 million. If what Barry Enders is reporting is true, 45K plus 50K. So the first mile of 45K for removal, and then 50K came again for election. So they spent 45K each on each lawmaker to remove Fonati, and then they spent 50K again to re-elect Rachel Coon. To elect, in fact, because he was never elected, to elect him, to make him the legitimate speaker. They spent 50K. What? Money in a capital building. No wonder why everybody wants to go to capital building. $95,000. Wow. I see why everybody wants to go to capital building. Lose money in that place. Imagine one person taking 95K, also his salaries, also his benefits, also his allowances. 95K annually. Just within the period of 6 months. One man knocked out $95,000 just to sign for the removal of Kofa. And then after Kofa resigned, they didn't succeed in removing him, resigned. Then they gave additional 50K each to 40 persons to go now and vote for Richard Kun as speaker. Something up to $95,000. And Liberians are suffering. Liberians are suffering. Listen to Liberians. Before we run into that, it's good that this information is coming at a time where we're about to run into our discussion. So those of you following, I are receiving the messages from a few of you. You say you want to know the cash giveaway. So the cash giveaway is active. They will say they will put 20 again. 32, I mean. So all you have to do, just make sure you have at least $100 Liberian on your mobile money account. And once you have that, you are qualified to play the cash giveaway. All you have to do, listen to the short code that you will dial if you have $100 Liberian on your mobile money account. you will dial star 799 star 11 hash. Again, you will dial star 799 star 11 hash. That's the short code you will dial to play the cash giveaway. Star 799 star 11 hash. Once you dial that code, you send, you will see that two options will appear before you. And option number one will be asking you to play in US dollars. And option number two will be asking you to play in Liberian dollars. Whichever option you enter, you select, you send, and then you enter your mobile money password. So you can play and win for yourself $4,000 tonight. Let's play you some stuff and then we'll move into our discussion, right? Okay. Where is okay, I'll play from this side. I'll play from here. Let's go. All right. So Liberians are speaking their mouths, and we'll play you their voices. You hear them?
Yes, lot of people have been 45 years experience. And see what's going on here. See what's going on here. What's going on here? You want to look the camera? It's very tough. Very tough. When you say things are tough, what do you mean? To get money, young man. You want to look the camera? To get money. You see the time? To get money high right now? One. Yes. See the US rate. And the man with a 45 years experience, it's just a bluff. For nothing experience there. For nothing experience, bro, you people here. You see, when you see all these people rolling behind you, taking your market, how people eat. My school coming open now. School just coming open. And I want for you to go and tell Bwaka, you're from school, you tell Bwaka, you should put your experience into use. Put your experience into use. We can see your experience. 45 years experience, but more. Culturally, you can see why people. But just finally, do you think the economic hardship you're talking about is the fault of the government, or is just the reality as per what's happening across the world? If you get experience, come with your spirit. Come with your spirit. Come with your spirit. Not just about more for the 5 years experience. Just well on the dogger. They got no experience. That's so nothing for the 5 experience. Okay, thank you very much. Why need?
My name is Favor.
Okay, Favor. Okay, so what you will say to your government?
The country is so hard for us and our parents. We are not going to school or children. We are saying for discount. My mother said 20 compared to finish, it can be hard. My mother not afford for me to send me to school. So we want for the government to make everything so for all for our mother to afford to send us to school.
You going to school?
No.
You're not going to school right now?
Yeah.
You said what's your name, Favor? So what kind of business is your mom doing?
Kobo.
She's doing Kobo business. She's selling across there, all the way on the other side. Your mom know like talking to Spoon TV right now, and you want the government to do to.
So this nigga, this kid saw their own institution that they are comfortable with, and decided to cross the road from where her mother is selling Kobo. She crossed the road to the microphone to express on behalf of she and her parents the pinch and the pains and agony they are experiencing under the leadership of President Bwaka. A teenager had to escape the presence of a mother who sells Kobo and crossed the road when she noticed or heard that Spoon TV was on the side. You heard our own friend asking her, your man know you here to talk to Spoon TV? She said no. She didn't tell her man because she knows already what she is going through. She knows exactly what her parents are going through. She said her man, Tony come around before. Her man used to say, Tony come around, it will go. These days, her man said, Tony come around, it can't even go. So the man even stopped cooking Tony cups again. She's not in school. And she's not in school because her parents or her mother cannot afford to pay her school fees in the first grade. So she wants her government to double up. It's good that the people win.
Improve the country.
Listen,
things get easier with your parents and so you can go to school.
Yeah.
No money in the country. The country very hard. Even before, I think Joey Atans are better because we got one or two. But so the new people getting power, the speaker shit, we are having two speakers. They are the future speaker and the real speaker. The real speaker just resign. But they put in our parliament, they get law for the country. They just seeking a set interest on the ways beyond the committee, so they forget about the country. They do all type of stuff. Spoil the country image abroad. Can you imagine? You look at the capital building, catch your fire burning. What the men are fighting about? Don't see what
but why do you think things are hard in the country? What do you think is responsible for the harsh economic situation? Is it the fault of the government, or is it the other aspect that has to do with the fact that hardship will always be around?
No, the government, for me, what I know is the government not having contact.
Contact?
Yeah, the president, because if you look at the president cried them on University of Labrador, PSC, he had nobody outside that you know. He said as a proper, he never exposed himself because he's a man, he's very savage. He never show himself to people. But for me, what I noticed, the president attended LU and get PSC degree, so he had no connection outside. One of the meeting. Dang.
You think that's the reason why there's an economic hardship in the country?
And the judges system in the country not fair. So no one look at them living money bringing abroad again fair because abroad law is very fragile. They respect the law.
When it comes to the business, things are not really improving because
the guy who just spoke is not an economist. We will say from the layman perspective, meaning the perspective that is not backed by formal reasoning or formal education. Meaning they may not go to school to acquire formal knowledge in economics or business or management or anything. But he says that he knows that to be president, you are supposed to have connection outside the country because it is a connection or your relationship that you are going to use to attract investors or investment in the country. From the layman perspective, he did not have to go to school to be an economist or a manager or a public administrator, but he knows that when the U.S. rate is high, it is going to affect prices of basic commodities. He knows that no money in the country, and no money in the country, the context is they don't have money to buy. Purchasing power is low. So he knows that. So he's speaking his mind. He's aware that Mr. Barker obtained a degree that is even older than us, some of us. And since then, he has no specialized skill. He has nothing to say, this is Mr. Barker's specialty. This is his specialty. This is his career. He has no career. He has no specialty. Nothing. Say he got a one pitiful degree according to this man. People with no specialized skills have questionable, will always be questioned. Their output, their performance, their ability to perform will always be questioned. They may, he gotta go to school to know these things. So you hear him clearly articulating what he thinks should be responsible for what we are going through. This is the next question.
The economic system is very high. Money is not coming in. People are not doing business that before.
Yeah. People not doing business that before.
This is another speaker.
So money not coming in.
Yeah, money not coming in.
Okay, let's talk about the exchange rate, for example. What's the exchange rate right now?
Yeah, change rate gone to 200.
200?
Yeah.
When was the last time you changed money for 200?
Yeah, quite recently, like day before yesterday, I changed money for 200.
How is business with you?
Business is difficult right
Another
now.
speaker.
Business is difficult.
Yeah.
What do you think is responsible for this? Do you think it's the fault of the government, or you think it's just the economic reality across the world? These things are happening.
I think it's the government because the government need to put mechanism into place to make the economic condition better for the people.
You hear this young man? This man did not have to go to any university. The man knows that it is the responsibility of the government to put into place the right measures, whether it's administrative, economical, whatsoever. Whether it's political measures, whether it's administrative measure, whether it's economic measure, he is aware that it is the government responsibility to put into place the necessary measures or introduce the necessary policies that will shift our country towards economic growth, towards economic stability, towards economic prosperity. He did not have to go to school. He does not have to go and sit in the classroom to be able to understand this from the layman perspective. Listen to them speaking.
So I'll blame the government.
Okay. So you think the government is at fault?
Yeah.
What do you make of the economic situation?
Everything is very hard. Just for people.
Another speaker.
I'm Willie Zoe,
Okay.
chairman of Banana Island.
So how do you call this place? Banana Island?
Yeah, Banana Island, Banana
So
Island.
where does Banana Island start from?
It's down right here.
Oh, from right here?
Yeah, okay, go that place. Yeah.
The entire Banana Island.
yeah.
Why did you call this place Banana Island?
Because we surrounded by water. You see there? And water, yeah. So now you see the pool water coming from so, but it get come up here, so it's surrounded by the island.
Oh, wow. Now, how is business with you?
As I'm talking to you, business hard. Business is hard. Doesn't collect. Then why you reach on the street?
Now, you spoke about the economy being very tough. They're not really buying from you. What do you think? Is it the fault of the government, or is it just the
Okay, so we're in that one there. We have many of these recordings here. I'm not going to play. I'm not this statement from the National Muslim Council. What I can say is that the National Imams Council of Liberia is reminding the government about the need to for a religious holiday for them, for two of their major events, and also that they are proposing to the government that in a case where there is a national event that falls on Friday, whenever a national event falls on Friday, the National Imams Council of Liberia says the government must ensure that the celebration ends before 12 May Day, or that the program must start after 2 o'clock. Let me repeat. The Imams Council of Liberia is saying when there is a national event that is held on Friday, or when a national event is being held on Friday, that event must start early to end before 12 May Day. Or that event must be held after 12 May Day. That's a proposal or a recommendation from the National Imam Council. And they are also reminding the government about a national holiday for their major events. That's a conversation we can have tomorrow to talk about, because I really want to spend some time on the economy and the exchange rate and all of these opinions that have been expressed by the because these are the basic issues that Liberians are concerned about, not the necessary politics that seek to address the interests of few greedy politicians. So these are the issues confronting Liberians on a daily basis. So I think we'll focus on these issues. But let's listen to our man Charles Brown again. At the time, Jeremiah was a rule, Maurice Tuma was a rule, and Tomo Fala was a rule. Listen to Charles Brown.
Tomo Fala, roll, Jeremiah, roll, Maurice Tuma, roll. I said, roll, Tomo Fala, roll, Jeremiah, roll, Maurice Tuma, roll.
Now, at the time, Jeremiah was a rogue. Thomas Father was a rogue. According to Charles Brown is currently the Labor Inspector General, Republic of Liberia at the Ministry of Labor. He used to work at the legislature, and he used to be leader there for the staffers at the legislature.
This is West Africa Web Television. People all around the world are watching you now. So tell us, today the president is giving a State of the Union address. What do you expect to hear from him?
Okay, thank you. First of all, my name is Anthony Elso from Salo County Rural District. First of all, I will tell you, nothing good Baka will tell us. Because the Baka, and I want to use the word president Baka. I will tell him, I will use the word say the Unity Party president. Because nothing good got to tell Liberian people. Deep into my heart, with some Liberian people deep to their heart. Nothing Baka got to tell us.
So that was then on Inauguration Day. Some Liberians believed that Mr. Baka had nothing to say to them. 1 year, 6 months after, the president of our country and his Unity Party seemed to be validating the perception or the perceptions that those Liberians had on the day of his inauguration. Not us. For us, everything we had to say about Mr. Baka and his capacity and his competence and his ability to produce or to lead or to govern this country and transform this country or shift us towards economic growth. We said everything, and everything that is happening today, for us, I think we are exonerated, but we are concerned about the ordinary people. The US rate is high. But listen to this song. I hate to play this song because I always get a call from somebody. Every time I play this song, somebody will call me and say, Austin, this song is too painful. It's too sad. It can bring tears to my eye. Because when I sit down and think about all of the things that you guys were saying, and still we Liberians, we did not listen to y'all. We did not listen to y'all. We did not listen to y'all. Listen to J Bobo. Yeah, this song is called Indecision. Listen to this song. And then this song will motivate us for our sermon tonight. Welcome to the only political fellowship on radio. And about this time, from tonight moving forward, this is the song that is going to introduce our political sermon. You know, we'll talk everything, clear our decks, we all around, and then we'll come down and deliver the sermon, and then we take calls and go home. So we are about to deliver our political sermon. So this song now is our new intro. This song will introduce our sermon and close our sermon moving forward by J Bobo. So those of you who are interested in the cash giveaway, be playing the cash giveaway, because we'll come back very shortly to do draws to give us some people $4,000. Those who will be lucky winners here tonight on the show. Jay, let's listen to him. Let's prepare our minds and our souls and our bodies for the sermon tonight.
J Baba. Cap with a J, no side G, international baby. They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so but the Christ in your grave. They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so but the Christ in your grave. Give us 7 now, take it big. They step in your house every day. We not talk every day, but say they won't go killing us every day. Like who come and save us now? Like who come and save us now? Corruption killing us every day. Making everybody face the front. They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so what's the price in your grave? They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so but the price say no job. Plenty people they import 40, one man taking 45K. No system, no rules in place, so corruption in our face. Hunger killing us, the hunger killing us, the hunger killing us, oh, hunger killing us.
They say the devil was sharp, it's an idle man. An idle man is a hungry man. A hungry man is an angry man that ain't bring all the holla there in the land. Corruption stay in the house. Too many appetite but hunger stay killing us. If you live to see the next day, you must thank God. We got our people that will vote that stay fooling us. They lie to us. All the hope and the promise that they made to us. So fly just to carry our vote from us. That's why they leave all in poverty. Just to see and walk away with the penalty. You came my mind, I will vote for you. You go to school, I will stay vote for you. Both people for let we pull it neither there, yeah they stay. Now I will give it to the woman. Then I make it so we give it to the beginning. The begin trip so we give it to the old people, yeah they stay.
They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so but the price say no They say they want new press, so we gave them the new press, so but the price say no job. Plenty people they import 40, one man taking 45K. No system, no rules in place, so corruption in our face. Hunger killing us, the hunger killing us, the hunger killing us, oh, hunger killing us.
Liberian people, that House of Representatives, I always say to you people that if I'm also depending on you will die.
Thank you very much. The hunger killing us. Just stop that corruption. It's too soon, my people. It's too soon. Now, folks, you see, our message tonight to the government is just simple. It's going to be straight to the point. There's a reason why those who are organizing a protest for the 17th of July that most of us are going to support. Let me repeat. There's a reason why, and a fundamental reason why those who are organizing the protest for July 17 are going to win the support from some of us. If you ask me, I'll tell you, yes, the US rate is high. But the prices of basic commodities went way up before the US rate reached to where it is today. It went way up. When a responsible or a new government takes over, the first thing that government is expected to do or to have done was to do an assessment or an evaluation of these basic movers of the economy. What did the government do to identify potential threats to the exchange rate? They felt comfortable with the policies that they inherited from the CDC government. Forgetting to know that when the CDC inherited the government in 2018, she encountered similar problems that pushed her into a 25 million mop-up exercise that had a time limit. And the risk analysis was done that could have seen a reoccurrence of the situation that existed in 2019 that pushed the government into a 25 million mop-up exercise. What the UP did was that they politicized that $25 million mop-up exercise and called Samuel Toure and made him and decorated him a criminal and projected him to the wall as a criminal who stole and mismanaged $25 million. But since the mop-up exercise, the US rate kept, the CDC government kept the US rate stable. It did not cross $1.50 to $5. I mean to $1. Until the CDC government left power and it started to climb up to 165 then around 2023 election. But they didn't cross. So that mob of exercise stabilized it. The UP folks came into power. We expected that. The first thing when the prices of basic commodities started rising, some of us started raising the issue, and they always find justification. They always find a means to discredit either your alert or your criticism, or when you're calling them out. The final minister came in. The process that even landed him into the position was chaotic. It was complicated, and so he did not go there with a focused mind. So it was a challenge for him from the fiscal side. Oh yes, from the fiscal side, it was a challenge for him. From the monetary side, there was an in-house fight at the central bank. The president started fighting everybody when he became president, including folks. There were fights in the two institutions that were supposed to take charge, running analysis and all of that, doing technical analysis and evaluation to see how we could stabilize the exchange rate. The president did not want the central bank governor that was there. He did not want one deputy governor for operations that was there. And so they were more concerned about chasing people who came to the jobs under the CDC era. They were more concerned about chasing Liberians out of jobs who got employed between 2018 to 2023. They were not concerned about economic reform. They were not concerned about administrative reform. And these are all facts. You cannot point to any administrative or financial reform that this government took upon coming to power, besides dismissing people who came to job, who came to government between 2018 and 2023. So they allowed the politics and the arrogance and the emotion to push their reasoning, to push them off track of the real issues. And some of us reminded them. We told them, hey, gentlemen, this thing you're doing, this thing will clock into your heads, and you guys will be unable to fix the problem, and it'll be a serious damage. This is where we are today. The time you were chasing EPS people, transport ministry people, or seditious, all a job from the executive mansion, that was the appropriate time you should have used, or you could have used to prevent what is happening now. To prevent what is happening now. When President Sirleaf said that Liberia will return to post-Ebola era in 2030. She was not wrong. And I always like to remind us, she was never wrong. First thing, Baka is not an economist. He can't be one because his age. The second thing, Baka does not have any serious, he did not have then a serious finance minister that had been tested and that understood the complexities that existed after his taking over. The third thing is, most of his people who took over the jobs, they were concerned, they went to the jobs with personal vendetta. So they allowed their vendetta to get them distracted from the real issues. So they were chasing human beings and forgetting the numbers. They were chasing human beings and forgetting the prices. They were chasing human beings and forgetting the service delivery to its people. They were chasing human beings. Today, where we are, you've succeeded in chasing over 60% of the human beings from government who came to power, who came to government from 2018 to 2023. You've succeeded in chasing them out. You know what I did? And we said that yeah, on the very onset, from the onset, you guys started chasing seditions or people who came to power. Because there are some UP people that got jobs in 2018, in 2019, and all of that. Between that period, they were ousted. They were chased out of their jobs because they were perceived to be seditious. And we said to you, hey, you guys have to be careful. The economy was not 100% good or operational, but the economy was stable. George Weah left a stable economy. No economist in this country can argue that, including the World Bank and the IMF praised George Weah. He left a stable economy. What Mr. Baga needed to have done was to have taken over from where he met the economy, identify the loopholes, identify the possible weaknesses that could have plunged us into where we are today, and then tapping those loopholes and all of that. They didn't do that. The first thing, I thought that the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank would have gone back to review the 25 million package, that austerity package. What was the identify the challenges that the CDC government identified then? Because that 25 million fixed the problem. It stabilized the exchange rate. Nobody can argue that. So I would have thought that a serious leader or a seasoned economist would have gone back for that $25 million mop-up program, review the report, look at the findings or the observations, and then do a fresh assessment or analysis of the current situation, our money regime. You see, okay, these were the situations that existed that led the CDC government into identifying 25 million to mop the economy. Did it help the economy, especially with stabilizing the rate? Yes. Did it help inflation? Yes, it did help. Are there indicators? Are there existing indicators that we can point to say, oh, the other one here, that is something that was happening that pushed George Weah to run for 25 million and mop up the economy? We're seeing these indicators. Let's go back to the text. What did they do? They did nothing. They sat down reluctantly and carelessly and started playing politics and chasing human beings when the numbers were rising above their control and they were chasing human beings. Today, the numbers are choking them and they're shifting blame and going back for way 2018, 2019 exchange rate. You knew that situation existed then. You could have prevented it. If you ask me, could this situation have been prevented? Yes. It could have been prevented had the government done what I just spoke about. Where are all the technicians? Where are the analysts? Where are the economists? Where are the sophisticated people? I'm not going to tell you that the Unity Party the UP does not have a few of them. But they were basically chasing human beings who got employment between 2018 to 2023. So they could not lay their hand on the into doing the right thing, the appropriate thing. So they allow their ego, their arrogance, their hate, their greed, their thirst for power and wealth to distract their attention from the real issue. And we are where we are today. Let me tell you something. It's applied everywhere. Mass dismissal leads to a lot of deficiency in the economy. In any economy, mass dismissal. You're not shifting people from job on job. You are not transferring people. You are dismissing them, meaning you are telling them you are taking salaries from them. You are taking their earnings from them. You dismiss people that were spending at least over 200,000 US dollars in their economy. In your economy on a quarterly basis. These are people that are spending over 200 to 300,000 US dollars in your, if they had that money circulating your economy. You dismiss them. It means you took bread from their mouths. You did not replace them. Even if you have replaced them, those people will still be unemployed. Those people were buying. They were doing businesses. Different type of businesses. They were going to the sidewalk to buying cassava and cookies and coconut and going to the scobo shop and buying Mary $500 food on UMB Capital and they were going to the different places eating at the local cook shops. Like the little girl said. Those low income earners were the ones going and eating at those different cocoa shops that do not have customers today. You laid them off. You took bread from their mouths. They cannot afford to eat or buy anymore. It means you reduce purchasing power. You say, oh, we don't want you to buy again. We're not giving you money. You go sit down. Go sit down, meaning you ain't get money coming in your pocket again. You will not be able to pay your children's school fees. You will not be able to buy. So the people selling that $50, $100 blasters in dollar, that those people, those cash workers, and low income earners used to be running to red light, to dollar, to the DK, buying that DK blazers and shirts and trousers and coat to go and wash them and press them to go to work and look neat on Monday because they cannot afford that those who are in the middle class level. So you took the bread from their mouths. They are no longer going to the Dukanfle man or Piggy or Bordan Watersa to buy again. They could not go to the boutiques. They were going Watersa, Apekono, buying the DK slingers and the DK shoes, bringing up the hill, wash them, shine them, polish them to look neat on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday to go to work. When they go down there to buy Watersa to buy, those balls will earn at least that $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a day. They too will be able to go and put their susu that $2,000, $3,000 susu a day. That susu man too, or susu woman benefits because he or she may be able to recycle that money or reinvest that money into something before the month end. She able to get a profit from that susu money and then pay the person who is eating the susu at the end of the month. The circular flow. That one is economical. That economics. The money will not flow. You hear people saying, oh, no money in the country, no money in the country. They are not telling you that no money in central bank. When you hear the consumers, the last end of the economy, the final end of the economy, are those people, the consumers. When you hear the consumers saying things hard, the country hard, we not get money to eat. Things prices up because they do not have earnings. When you hear the Nana ball or the retailer telling you things are high, things are high, the country high, the country difficult, it's because people are not going to buy anymore from them. It's because people are not going to buy. How do people buy when they do not have earnings? I listened to a talk show today. The person said the papa called and said his wife is selling potato greens at a Kuwait market. And he said for the last 3 to 4 months, his wife goes and comes back. Nothing to do. No business to do. No business to do. How long can you reserve or preserve potato greens for? Who are buying potato greens? At the largest scale or our larger scale, the people who are buying potato greens are the people who are selling in the cook shops and the restaurants. Do you see people in queue going to the restaurants and the cook shops to eat again? No. Because their purchasing power has reduced. People have been taking out of job. So who going back potato green again? Little few people. Few caterers, in fact. If people were buying 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 potato greens a day, they're not buying 5,000 potato greens a day because they are not getting the number of customers that they were getting before. No. What do? They reduce their quantity. Instead, they will buy maybe $1,200 or $1,500 potato greens. So they don't run into deficit, into loss. That's what happened to your country. That's what happened to your government, Mr. President. So when you hear the journalists asking, who do you blame? And you hear the ordinary people saying, we blame the government. Yes, they have legitimate reasons to blame the government because the government is the one that is supposed to introduce policies to address these issues. The government is doing nothing. All you see on social media is that in Georgia town the rate went up. What did Georgia do for the country? Koji that murderer. Somebody told that rule. Magazine spot the country. Now all you hear them saying, they are not proposing or advancing any policy to fix or solve the problem. They are only making references to what transpired in 2018 and 2019. They do not care. They care less about the solution that was sought or that was found by the CDC government to stabilize the rate and reduce inflation. And you will not fix the problem in that kind of arrogance. You justifying, rationalizing, intellectualizing the people suffering. People are poor. They are complaining that they are poor. They say they do not even have means to send their kids to school. And you are intellectualizing their poor condition. And you think all is well? All cannot be well. Those are the people who will come outside on July 17th to protest. If that little girl could leave her mother's shop and walk to the microphone to express her grievances, what do you think will happen on July 17th? The people will come outside. The people that are angry, the people that cannot afford to eat anymore, the younger boys who were making $6,000-$7,000 a day and they cannot even make $1,000 a day, those are the people who are going to mobilize in the communities to come outside on July 17th and communicate their disagreements and their grievances to the government. Those are the people who will come outside on the 17th of July. The country is hard. It is hard. Things are difficult. Prices are high. People take $2,000-$3,000 to the market. They come with little or nothing. To the extent that the price of mwemwe, oh, I want $10. The person, oh, no $20. You go to dollar market and they tell you no $20 mwemwe. $20 cannot even buy you a mwemwe. That's how terrible it is. And you sit down, your US rate is claiming far above Joe Biden age. And you're just sitting down and making fun of all of it. Your exchange rate is higher than your country's age. Higher than your president's age. Higher, seated way at the top of the Wudogizi mountain, looking down in in President Joseph Boakar's face, punching him with critical questions that he cannot even fathom. Healthy is joke or it's intellectual thing. You want the people to rise up and start chasing you from their communities before you know that it's serious. Because that's what hunger does. A hungry man is an angry man. When the people rise up to demand change, to demand reform, to demand solutions, the government will have no option but to listen. Even you get by the boss passing all around on social media and think you can run government on social media. You think you're going to use propaganda to put food, to put bread on the table. You are not going to use, you think you are going to use propaganda to pay the school fees of those kids that you see roaming the streets? Without hope? People go to bed, they wake up in the next morning, they fall and die under pressure, stress, killing people, frustration. And you think it's joke? Or you think it's an intellectual thing? You think the people are satisfied? You think all is okay? You think the country is good? You think the country is peaceful? Do you think the guns that you have can restore peace in this country? Or can advance peace in this country? No. It is the economy. The economy is the first line of peace in any country. When the economy is good, the people can go to bed with their better feel. They are good. They are okay. When those Yana balls from on Rana Street and down Waterside can wake up in the morning, run to Waterside and Rana Street and be able to sell and make the money and go to bed, they will not get involved into any trouble because they know that getting involved in the trouble will undermine their businesses. So they will be busy trying to protect their businesses. That's why a responsible government is supposed to place emphasis on the private sector, on expanding the private sector, because the government cannot even absorb 10% of the 5 million human beings. And you sitting down, we're talking about that almost. I'm very sure we're chasing about 20 to 25% of Liberians now into public service. Everybody wants government job because the private sector is small. It cannot absorb everybody. The pressure comes on the government. These are things that the government is supposed to be concerned about. The government called a cabinet meeting today. Everything the government discussing in cabinet meeting today, that HPX and Metasteel. Everything they are discussing today. In fact, the essence of the cabinet meeting, in fact, was to focus on Metasteel and HPX. Nothing serious was discussed in our meeting today. HPX and Metasteel meeting. The same HPS and Metasteel that the government diligently deal with and manage, the CDC government. Under huge diligence, the CDC government was able to manage that issue. Yes, some paid the price because they got sanctioned. But at least the laws were respected. Today, you're being written. You say that the people insulted you. But because you refuse to exercise responsibility, because you refuse to show that you are a responsible government, that's why these partners, these investors will reduce these communications that you will consider condescending. Because the way you carry yourself, they say when you carry yourself in tomato core, they will dish you a broom straw, right? We used to call it broomstick small children. When you put yourself in tomato core, they dish you a broomstick. Because, Mr. President, you key members of your cabinet, members, you guys place yourselves in tomato cups. That's why HPX is only correcting you, calling you to check. Nobody forces you to make commitment to HPX. Nobody forces you to sign MOU with HPX. You carry yourself there because you thought Metasteel or CDC. They seem to be talking about arrogance, unnecessary fine, tolerance. You thought Mitasti was a CDC thing? Forgetting to know that Mitasti is the biggest, the largest employer in the private sector in this country. You were risking Mitasti's investment. See what we are today. Now they are making reference to 7 years negotiation have been ongoing. I told you, say John Weah did not do anything. How come in the very government in response, they are referencing, they say that 7 years, that the government have been negotiating for the past 7 years between HPX and Mitasti. This thing, you people say, John Weah did nothing. John Weah government was not sophisticated enough to handle and manage HPX and ArcelorMittal. Today, they are telling you that the government was handling, the government have been negotiating this thing for a third party road user right for the last 7 years. Meaning 6 years can be, 5 years can be accredited to George Weah. But he was not doing anything now. They were not sophisticated now. How come they were negotiating? How come they were negotiating? His officials have clear opinion, clear analysis on HPS versus Mitasti. I still remember to a consistent analysis, but protecting legality over expression of interest. Because one had legal right, and another was just an expression of interest. Oh, fine, I want you. Oh, fine, I won't buy a hole. Oh, fine, I won't buy a hole. That's two different things. So what do we do? Do we risk Mittal that already have legal right, that we have already legally through the legislature giving right to the rule, and we just bring somebody into a memorandum of understanding and say, can't use it along with them? It wouldn't project Liberia as a responsible country for doing business. And so what we do, we negotiate with ArcelorMittal that has the legal right that we gave to for a third-party user, right? For a third-party user. That negotiation started. This same you people politicize that negotiation and accuse the legislature and accuse people of taking money from ArcelorMittal to speak in the manner he spoke about the agreement, about the negotiation. Today, to an extension, he's aware that he got sanctioned because of HPX and ArcelorMittal. He's aware. He said that during a press conference at the CSA here at the ministerial complex after he was sanctioned. He said that. So he's aware that why he got sanctioned for. All of you politicize that thing. Where we are today, now you're in power. You expect everybody now to clap for you. That's what they say when you are not there. When you are down, those who are up, hey, clap for those who are on the stage. Correct those who are on the stage and making mistakes when they make mistakes. When they do well, clap for them. Because one day, just one day, you might find yourself on that very stage. And you will need people to clap for you. You will need people to correct you. You will not need people to insult you and call you names and denigrate you and address you in condescending manners and all of that. That's why when you are down and those who are on the stage and making mistakes, they say you correct them in good faith. When they are doing well, you clap for them. Because tomorrow when you are up on that stage, you too will do some good things and you need people to clap for you. And they may not be there to clap for you because you refuse to clap for them yesterday when they were there. You see the circle we're in? Oh boy, enjoy what I do. Oh boy, enjoy what I did it. Oh boy, and you're replacing? You're replacing for the 2 years experience. So we don't expect excuses. We expect solutions. We expect that the UP will be arresting situations here and rescuing them. We don't expect that UP will be justifying I want to check and see whether I can do. Let me refresh it and see what I can do a draw. Let me see what I can give somebody $4,000. No, it's not possible. I ain't giving anybody $4,000. So that's what we expect from the UP, to be fixing problems here and solving problems, arresting them and rescuing them. But they're giving more excuses than they are rescuing. They are giving more justification why they cannot do it, instead of communicating what they have done or how they have done it. Folks, we will conclude or climax our message at this point, and then we go to the telephone lines to pick us. But the country is difficult, it's hard. The government, in my mind, if she is serious enough, which I don't think Mr. Braga has shown any seriousness or willingness to lead. Because the first thing is, you must be willing to accept criticism. You must be willing to accept corrections. You must be willing to partner. You have to open your arms to people who were there before you. This thing is not about age. It's about experience and service. Practical one. And experience does not mean how old are you. We're not talking about age, meaning the man has lived for long. What did he do when he was living? How did he do it? The way he did it yesterday, yes. Is it possible that he will be able to apply the same strategy 40 to 35, 38 to 42 to 45 years after? The way you presided, the way you conducted Ministry of Agriculture 45 years ago, it's not possible that you use the same strategy to run the Ministry of Agriculture today. Florence Chinwe experienced difficulties when she was called back to head the Ministry of Agriculture. The ministry had less staff at the time she was Ministry of Agriculture in 1979. In 2016, they had more. When she came back, 2014, sorry, when she came back, they had more. The level of sophistication that her deputies had in 1979 was lesser compared to the sophistication that she met with her deputies in 2014. You have people with AA, people who just came from BWR, different places, all working in serious positions. When she came, she met bachelor degree holders, master degree holders as associate assistant directors and directors. So she had a more sophisticated environment to deal with compared to the 1970s when she served as agriculture minister. So you didn't expect her to apply this. She was younger then. Compared to 2014, when she was already a retired civil servant anyway. So you can't expect that it's the energy or the zest that Joe Braga had 45 years ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago in public service. We can't expect the same energy. We can't expect the same knowledge. We can't expect the same capacity. We can't expect the same reasoning. He had a stronger reasoning then. Now it is obvious that his reasoning should be amongst the weakest in Africa. Yes, that's a fact. Then Mr. Braga may have had one of the best or the strongest reasoning then, 50 years ago. In 2023 or 2024 or 2025, Mr. Braga has one of the weakest reasoning in the sub-region. So we don't expect him to be an effective president that will be able to sit down and monitor. Make him read three paragraph on paper. Can read it and analyze it at this stage. No, he can't. He make him sit down and read 3 paragraphs and run analysis and gain pain. Then he read. The boy executive marshal, you're asking Baka Biggie person, you are not rating anything. The whole pain and read. Mr. Baka has not written a single paragraph since he became president. Yes, he has not reviewed, not review but preview. Mr. Baka has not previewed any communication. And I'm saying this because I know this for a fact. Since Mr. Baka became president, he has not previewed any communication. He has not read any document. Not a single document that Mr. Baka has read since he became president. Just to talk about a communication. Go there and see all the bills, the draft bills, or the ones that were passed by the legislature. Mr. Baka, no, he has never even read any, even the preambles. He has not read them. The budget, the first budget, 2024 budget, the 2025 budget, Mr. Baka has not seen nothing they call the budget. He has not opened or flipped a paper. Yes, I can say this because I know this is a fact, 100% fact. Mr. Baka can sit down, up head, and tell you, say, the Ministry of State budget, my budget is on page 636 or 338 or 278. He does not even know the page that is hosting, the page in the budget that is hosting his allotment, his allocation. He doesn't know it. When he says Ministry of State, my allocation is on 188, page 188. Baka does not know. He doesn't know. His own budget line, he has not seen. So he just making request for him. He won't go to the person at all. So there is no, the point I'm making is there is no oversight from the office of the president, from the president himself. There's no oversight. He's not checking to balance anything. He's not curious to know anything. He's not. This is a president that will not even read a communication that was sent to him from HPX to him. He will not read it. This is the man that was sitting as president. The HPX will read him, and a minister or a deputy minister portfolio will write replying to HPX. Not even the Minister of Justice. Not even the National Investment Commission. That's how appalling the situation is. Are there people around him that could make changes? Yes, I still think so. With our internal fight that is ongoing, I think there are still people around that could. But with the level of the party influence in the governance of the country, I don't think so. Because the party does not want people there, Grace there, and same Steve Kuya and making decisions in executive mansion without their approval or their knowledge. They don't want it. So there's a serious fight. So we are not going anywhere. We will remain in this cycle. We are not going anywhere. It's a whole disaster that we're in. A complete disaster. And we told you, and I'm on record, I'm not going to have it. I said to you, Baka was a complete disaster just waiting to be unveiled to us. What do we see today? The disaster has been inaugurated, sowing the office, and unveiled. What do we have? What do we see? What significant change that we can boast of? What is the legacy project that Mr. Baka is saying, honor 1 year, 6 months? This is my legacy project that I initiated, I broke ground for, initiated, and completed. Where is it? Nothing. You still want us to be convinced that Mr. Baka is on top of his game? There is no hope. 0776 104 104 0886 500 104. Those are the numbers to call and be a part of the show tonight. Let's go to the telephone lines. I will take 8 calls tonight and then I run away to go home. Good evening to you. Let's hear you quickly. Hello, you're live. Let's hear you. You're not ready to call on the show, though. You're not be calling on the show. Yeah, this is not playground. Hello. Good evening to you. Let's hear you. Let's hear you.
Amen. Again, we are waiting for is 2017. You know, see all coming in the street. Why can't you also protect the constitution and declare what you abuse it? Are you getting me?
You're live. I'm getting you.
So that this is popping the woman as I said. If I don't get nothing.
Thank you. Next person, go ahead.
Yeah, hello?
Hello, you're live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, my name is Thomas School. I'm calling from Nikuta.
Nikutan, go ahead.
Talk about economics and rate change, exchange rate. And the side government should focus on at these fuller people that are changing the money on the sidewalk and those that are changing money on the sidewalk. They can put price there up without no reason. They will bring the put price up, so they should focus on them. That the thing makes today the rate is too high for us because they are not focusing on these people. Yes, we just say, but let them focus on these people, my brother. They will just see that economics rate they put it up for us. It's suffering the lay people, suffering with our hustling around. Yeah, price can just go up.
Thank you. Next person, let's hear you. Go ahead.
That is the woman, as I was saying, on the 17th of July, the Nigerian people will show their power to the president. And if he fails to about what we are saying, that will be the error of his government.
Thank you. We're not bringing no error government being here. That people will entertain you. My sissy, go ahead.
Hello, how you doing, Austin?
I'm fine.
Thank you for the show.
Yeah.
No, Austin, there will be no ground on Boaka. And when they say the leadership, when they say bad, wicked, and arrogant, that the leadership will be in today. It's Boaka leadership. People are very rude and arrogant. You see, one other man talking about, I will insult your mother, I will insult your father. They don't want to come out and say insulting somebody from the president office, which is president, we are office. President, we are office. You see, we're going somewhere, we're not going nowhere. The government, when you talk about breaking ban, they will not do point. But they are feeling sorry all the money. What's that shop for it? You're talking about it. They pay the money from beer Martin, who don't want to pay to us today in the country. What they say they were budget surplus. So they are maintaining that we will fast and pray, and we will kneel and pray, and who our stomach tech. What they are talking about, people are talking this country are protesting today, also today in the country of water is worse than ever before. So that's what happened in the country of water because people are very arrogant. When you talk, they won't answer you. They begin me. They begin blasting to come off me in the night because I'm very proud of the government. And we say no to that. We can't say that the corporate they want to go after them in the night to kill them. That the second thing happened, they brought white you with black clothes. They all tell they brought black you with black clothes. So then they are hunting me because I'm very poor. And now you can do government. And the corporate say they do the right thing, but the corporate say go after them. That is bad for our country. And people got freedom of speech. It was year before, and when you say it was power, today it comes to the leadership, and that's it. But first all, you won't go after your poor council, and you can't kill them. It's not going up. So don't say it was on the government, they make it red, they make our thing. I was saying about 2018, that man pray, it's going down the poo hole.
Thank you. Hello, go ahead. Go ahead.
You were saying, it's a worker, and not done, sit down for proper anything, and completely.
Hello, let's hear you. Go ahead. You're live.
Thank you, dear brother. Austin. Good evening.
Go ahead, Hussein.
Yeah, thank you. This is Hussein Keo. I want to appreciate you for the hard criticism of our government. I think our democracy is growing over the period that people can respectfully disagree with the government. They have not been haunted. I think.
How are you? They are not being haunted.
I know, but you will
Why you security man, you police man, you know how many threats we receive on a daily basis? Or because we're not bringing all these things to the public?
Yeah, but I think if it is happening, there will be a whole thing that needs to bring to the public.
You said I'm renting my car, go bring. Why I want to rent my car, go bring. You people start running all around saying I don't want to bring my car. They say people are not being haunted. You saw that people issuing check against AB and Oliver Khan all around. You see the hearing the information. Mobile Molo is complaining that he escaped assassination attempt 2 times.
Don't get credence to Mobile Molo.
No. We get credence to even you. Because tomorrow, because of your critical nature of the government, I mean of the opposition, some citizens acting on their own may choose to attack you.
Yes,
you say we should not give you credence? We'll give you credence when you raise the alarm.
Yes, you're right. I must agree with you in that line.
So let's say you.
I'm more interested in my friends who are journalists like you, AB, and other guys. So, like I continue to say, Austin, we sometimes disagree and agree on different national issues, right? So I want you to continue with your hard critique and criticism, but at times we recommend to the national government, and they will listen. Trust me, the government will listen. Like the president said in the roundtable with the media, he said there will be an open media that will criticize and critique, and the government will tolerate those critiques. So it's good, keep it on, but we have to do it in a way that at least it will look more democratic.
You see, the government is not tolerating any criticism or any critical voice. The government have instructed. Do you know that the director of communications at the Bureau of State-Owned Enterprise was suspended and warned never to bring an announcement yet, only because he brought an announcement to our station? And he got suspended. So your government is not tolerating critical voices or critical opinions. They are just uttering them in the public. Behind the scenes, they are doing different things.
So, but the hell said I make that commitment. I think you're around the president when you make that commitment.
I didn't attend your media data.
Yeah, once you're the president.
But I have media data. I will media data.
Yeah, but director was there. The director was there. Khan was there. So I think yeah, so he make that.
Thank you, Uzi. Let's hear the next person. We'll take 2 more and go home. Good evening to you. Hello, you're live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, this is Louis calling from KAWAH, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I listened to the show, but our problem is that government can, we always have problem because our people who step the country for any business, they want to suffer off. How when the country get its own resources to improve the country, and we cannot utilize it? Because that kind of our country, you all lay hands on, take our resources and carry it.
But why are we even accepting handouts? Why do we even subject ourselves to accepting handouts from people who come here under the guise of wanting to invest in our country?
Yeah, because our people start the country for this business. You see, so government. These are the problems. Even you are talking about the regime now and there. The people are not wanting the regime. But because the BN was behind the regime, that's why you see went this way. And Liberians were not trying to change this country. We're far in the background because as long as we cannot remain under the way, that system, we need to change it. We cannot change that system. Liberia will still remain the same in the background.
I agree
with you. Or leave it. Take it to the bank and keep it. That's why we look at Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso are going through the same thing we're going through. But when they are open, what become of it today? They decide to utilize the resources. But Liberia, we're still looking up to the big about us there, and the big about that one for us to improve, take our resources and bring it, take it raw, and when we find it and bring it back to us, they use money. You see, we are not ready for the project of Federal. Even with change back up today, we find another government there, and then we still remain one of the big hands. We will not make progress.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. I agree with you. We have to go. Why is my yes, I said after the seem to okay, that means just squeeze this one in. Hello?
Hello?
You're live. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Samuel Johnson from Johnsonville.
Samuel Johnson from Johnsonville. Are you part of Johnsonville?
Yeah.
Are you rocking on the lane now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, my topic, as well as you can't live in Cameroon.
Say again? Why is Pluto? Why is Pluto? Mama, when you won't make power, and me, I won't make power now. Yeah, so listen now, answer my question now. Hey, you call for us. I will not call you off. Just be patient. Let's talk. Wait now. You say Pluto, right? You see now, you don't want to listen now. Hey, let me ask you a question now, Johnson. You say Pluto. I'm asking you, what is Pluto?
You know, because if you not live there,
what is Pluto? Answer the question. What is Pluto? Just answer.
You know.
My man, you're not ready, ba? You're not ready.
Hunger killing us.
Your friends are here crying that hunger killing them. You hear talking about somebody living in Pluto. Hungry man. Because you got land to sell in Johnsonville, so you are not feeling the hunger.
In the house, too many appetite for hunger, stay killing.
Oh yes, folks, that's how we go home tonight.
We got our people,
and we shall be back here tomorrow by God's grace.
All the hope and the promise that
the government is for us.
Carry our vote from us. That's why they lead in poverty.
That's why we want the government to succeed.
You came my mind, I will vote for
the government is doing everything to convince us that they do not want to succeed. We have to pressure the government. We have to chastise the government. We have to beat on the government.
I make it so we get it to the beginning.
To make it to work for us, for all of us, in our interest.
They say they want new press, so we gave them the new.
Again, thanks to all of you for joining the show tonight. We shall be back here tomorrow by God's grace. But until then, enjoy yourselves.
We gave them the new press.
Good night.
Plenty people name poverty. One man taking 45K. No system, no rules in place. So corruption in our face. Hunger killing us. The hunger killing us. The hunger killing us.